Hey, what's going on, my friends? Welcome to another live session. You know me, my name is Victor, and it's a pleasure and an honor and a joy to be here with you this fine afternoon. I'm going to wait, as I always do, just a few minutes for people to hop on, and then we will be rocking and rolling. It's going to be an epic month, July. July is going to be fast-paced, jam-packed with forward growth, forward movement, a lot of action, a lot of progress. Very, very fast-paced. It's going to be excellent. It's a kind of energy that I always had in mind for the ascension energies. The idea of it is, to me, just like an energy that helps you change and expand your life. And that's exactly what we have right now. So I'll wait for a few minutes here for people to hop on, and then we'll get rocking and rolling. Awesome. Thank you, Forrest. If anybody else is here, sometimes there is a lag. Would you mind just leaving a comment or saying hello or something like that, so I know I'm not just talking to myself here? Okay, it looks like I can see people on this other window here. Cool. Looks like there's 7 people on. Would someone please leave a quick comment to say, Victor, I hear you, boss. Let's do it. Thank you, dear. Thank you, Anastasia. Welcome. Beautiful. Appreciate it. So I'll wait about 1 more minute, and then what I'll do is what I always do. I'm going to tune us in with a guided visualization to help us sort of get centered for the day. And then I'll go over my energy update I have for you guys. Then beyond that, I'll open it up to questions. And if you have any questions at any time, what up, Mary Alice? At any time, go ahead and leave them. And there were some that were submitted prior to this, and I'll answer those as well. All right, I'm gonna take a quick sip of water, and then we'll get rocking and rolling. Okay, so because July, we're not in July yet, but it almost feels that way, like we're getting there. It's going to be so fast-paced. One of the challenges you might find is feeling grounded and not just swept away with all these things that are now on your plate that you're doing and dealing with and working on, etc. I very easily become ungrounded. So for me, it's a matter of maintenance. So anyways, what I'm saying is this visualization we're going to do now is something that you can kind of remember and do on your own to help ground yourself. This was taught to me by this woman named Cece who came to one of my retreats, and it really worked well. So, okay, everyone just make sure you're sitting up nice and tall. Okay, I know some of you are probably slouched on a pillow. Just make sure your spine is straight in some way, shape, or form. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed. A lot of times we're like this and don't even know it. Let them just tell your shoulders to just lower themselves a bit. Put your palms on your knees, or you can clasp your hands like this in your lap. Whatever's comfortable, okay? Close your eyes. Okay, my friends, everyone take a nice deep breath in through your nose. Draw it deep down as far as you can into the pit of your belly. And then exhale out of your mouth. Do that one more time. Nice, beautiful, deep breath in. Fill those lungs. Let it out. Okay, now we're going to do something I just learned about. This is part of this thing we're going to do. This 6-breath routine that I learned in this audiobook I'm listening to by Aubrey Marcus. It's real simple. You just take 6 deep breaths in within a span of 30 seconds. We're going to do that right now. I don't care if it's through your nose, through your mouth. Just inhale deep, bring it deep as you can, and we're going to do 6 together. Do your best right now to model or match my tempo, okay? Hold it. Let it out. The idea behind that is that you can dramatically alter your state of being and consciousness in 30 seconds with 6 breaths. You can do this while you're driving at any time. So now that we're all settled, now go ahead and close your eyes again. I know I told you to do that in the beginning. You might have opened them. Now we're going to close them again, okay? So now make sure your feet are planted on the ground. Put your awareness into your feet. Just think about your feet, feel your feet with your mind, and wiggle your toes. Feel your toes tapping the ground. Feel your heels, kind of dig your heels into the ground. And just feel like your feet are heavy, like they're being filled with cement, and they're just getting heavier and heavier and heavier. And you're like locked down to the ground now. You can't go anywhere, even if you wanted to. Your heavy feet are keeping you there grounded. Now imagine that there's this really vibrant, vital, healthy root system extending from the balls of your feet, down into the ground, into the earth, beneath the soil, into the crust. Imagine this epic, healthy, impenetrable root system just diving itself down, digging its way deep, deep, deep into the earth's core. Now imagine you get maybe a few 100 feet down, and then that root system stops, and then it starts to expand. All these little offshoots start springing from this big root ball, this root base that is grounding you deeply into the heart of the earth. And your roots are just spreading far and wide, taking up maybe half of the planet. That's how vast and epic your root system is, keeping you grounded into the earth. And just put your awareness into your feet. Follow your feet down into the root system, all into the many pathways it's creating with the different offshoots of those roots from the root ball. And you are connected like a tree to all of that, feeling stable, grounded, centered, calm, confident, at peace, whole, conscious, and free. This is your natural state. This is who you are. You can do any variation of this at any time to re-find yourself, rediscover yourself, the consciousness that you are. Okay, I feel nice and grounded. You guys can go ahead and slowly open up your eyes. We didn't get too deep, so you probably don't feel too foggy or anything. And if you do, just take a moment to kind of come back. Okay, you guys ready to rock and roll? Hello, Carl. Welcome as well. So we're going to talk about the energies. They're like the July energies. I know it's like we got a few days left of June, but this is going to be kind of like, I feel like the tone has already changed, and we'll keep its beat and tempo for the month of July. I feel like we're being introduced into what's to come already. So I'll talk about that. So as I mentioned at the very beginning, maybe you haven't hopped on, but I wrote down, it's very fast-paced, busy, productive time. It's just like there might be like a lot of things to do, and like time might just slip away from you. It can just feel very just like action-packed. It's an interesting thing. You know, we are manifestors and co-creators, and we do things. We are building our new life, but we are the builders. So it's anything we want. The bigger the thing, it usually is a sort of a complex operation, and we are responsible for all the little details, oftentimes involving a lot of breaking down of the old structures in our life, doing what we have to do in a practical sense. Like for me, it was I had to move. I wanted to move across the country. Well, with 3 children, that involves a lot. We had to pack up our house. We had to individually sell the different items. I had to put things onto Craigslist. I had to box everything up. I had to hire movers. There's all these little steps. Now it's just the breakdown phase, and it's the building. Like maybe you're building a business or a new house or a new life or something. If you're writing a book, there are just action steps. And the energy right now is going to really be like fuel for your body to do all these action steps. And it's a time that, it's not a time to sit and contemplate and wait and analyze and overanalyze. It's time just to like let the energy take you and go into the direction of the next obvious step, the thing that you feel needs to be tended to, and just do that as best you can. You're going to have almost like an added source of fuel to help you do that. So it's a time to just be action oriented. And this can be tricky sometimes, as the more action oriented, forward moving we are in the direction of our dreams, more blocks, more doubts, more of our ego sort of crops up to sort of weigh us down. It's a time to say, you know what, ego, you're gonna have to take a back seat. You're not in control of this ride any longer. I got stuff to do. We'll talk later. A little inner child, we'll have a little conversation later on in the evening or tomorrow or the next month, and we'll address all your needs. But right now, you gotta just chill and buckle up and enjoy the ride because we're moving. So it's like that, okay? Now, with this type of energy, which you've all probably experienced before, there's a million things to do, sort of excitement based. I wrote down here, self-care is a must. So I wrote down here as a note to ask you guys who are listening right now to, let's all real quick share, what is your favorite self-care practice? What are the things that you personally do to help ground yourself or balance your mind or release stress? I want to just see a few people's examples and then I'll have some of my own, but I'm just curious. And I'm going to assume if you don't type anything that you're not doing anything, and then I'm going to yell at you, okay? I will. No, I won't yell at you, but let's just hear real quick some of your self-care practices, things that you do. I'd be curious. I know Mary Alice, if you're watching, I know you do a bunch of stuff. Sometimes there's a delay when people type, so I'm going to go ahead and share some of my favorite things. I'm going to share some things that are free. And this is very important. This is self-care, something I really was hoping I wouldn't have to do because it's just one more thing to do. I found it to be a nuisance that all of a sudden I need to do all this self-care. But guess what? The further along my journey I get, the more self-care I do, the more important I realize it is to adjust my lifestyle to be conducive to this process unfolding as a result of the changes in the energy. Okay, and as I have sort of yielded to this, my life has just blossomed. I've really been able to tune in to my higher self much more easily with the help of the self-care, because frankly, life is stressful. We all know that. Beautiful. Thank you, everyone. Looks like you got some. This is Claire Essence Online, sticking feet in the beach and meditating. Boom, that's beautiful. Oh my goodness, I love the beach. Just being at the beach is grounding. Nature is grounding. I wrote down here for like free options. Nature. Empaths love and thrive in nature. Anyone going through an awakening will just feel better, feel rejuvenated with the help of nature, and it's free for the most part. Mary Alice, I knew you had a bunch. Float in your pool, nice. I've never heard of that. I like it. Breath work, oh man, I'm a breath work fanatic. I do it every single day. Good for you. Flotation tank, beautiful. That's like high level, Mary Alice. Good for you. I do that sometimes. That's very nice. Chiropractic, acupuncture, walk in my neighborhood, walk by nature. Nice, cool. So another thing I like to do, I like to stretch. Stretching, it's like, you imagine like stress that we pick up through life and it's like stored in our body, right? It really is. You can feel tension, literally, physically. And stretching is like, you can just feel that tension sort of dissipate as you stretch. You don't even have to be like good. I'd recommend popping on a yoga video or something, but the worst case, you all know, you all have joints that move. You just stretch them as best you can until you feel that tightness. Anyways, I'm a big fan of stretching and yoga. So, okay, so my point is, my friend, it's a good time to do more self-care this month. It really is important. And it will really help you just feel good. Because this energy is like a new, higher frequency energy, and it's a better energy than what we were previously living in. It allows us for faster manifestation, more joyful expression, just higher level emotions, lighter, more joyful emotions, all of that. But if we're not attuned to it, if we're letting stress weigh our vibration down, then we're not feeling these these peak effects of the energy that's here right now for you. A lot of my symptoms, a lot of my heartache, a lot of my problems earlier in my life were because I didn't do any of this. I neglected myself. So anyways, rant over it. You guys get the point. So I wrote down here, another theme I'm picking up on is like the realization that life is only going to continue to change and expand. There's always going to be something new. It's like our selves and our lives are like geometrically expanding, and we're not really going through life in this linear path like we are told by our teachers that we're gonna go to school, get an education, get a job, retire, be settled. It's not like that. It's like our life just keeps compounding itself, and there's always more. There's always more to go, and the faster you go, the more that you realize there is. So I think we're all becoming hip to the notion that life is, just like Ferris Bueller says, life is moving pretty fast. If you don't stop once in a while, you might just miss it. I paraphrased and butchered that, but it's a sweet movie. He's right though. Life is moving fast. We are changing fast, and I can tell you, I've gone through the dark night. I've gone through all this stuff, and I've manifested most of the things I wanted a long time ago. And I can tell you from experience, there's just more I'm going for, and it's not because I'm being greedy and needing stuff, but just because that's the natural nature of the soul, to go and to grow and to expand. But because of that fact, it's like, let's become really masterful this month and not just make progress for the sake of making progress to getting some finish line. No, let's enjoy the journey. Let's go through this expansion more masterfully, more present, more grounded in like the moment to moment peripheral aspects of our day to day, moment to moment experience, and be truly present and mindful of our life experience. That's like a theme right now. So a really good way to kind of tap into that is to do some kind of gratitude practice. Have you guys ever done any gratitude practices? I'm going to share one right now. If you guys have any you want to share, go for it. Gratitude is a very high vibration state of being that every single person, no matter what what's going on in your life, you can tap into. It's like we have access to almost all of our memories we've experienced in life, and we've all been through stuff. I get it. We've also all had highs and good moments in our life. Literally just tuning into a good memory. Like, I'll try to think. When I was in high school, I used to love weightlifting in the gym, and my friends were there, and I would write them workouts, and I was just so happy. I could just start thinking about that as an example and feel good, feel grateful to have had the honor to experience that little aspect of my life. I can just think about the fact that I have really clean water. This cool water filter, this pristine hydro. And I remember when I first got the water, I was like, there was such a contrast between that and like my tap water. But now I become, take it for granted. But I can choose to be grateful for my water. See where I'm going with this? So it's really good. A really good way to be present on your journey is to be in a state of gratitude. Yes, Council Peasant says, at first I made an effort to practice gratitude, but soon I found it came naturally. Exactly. Yeah, it's like a lot of things. Like a lot of people when they start doing breath work, it's hard, it's challenging, they're not good at breathing, but then breathing is natural. It's a natural thing, we've all done it, so we get good quickly. Same with gratitude practice. Good for you. Okay. But essentially, what all of this implies, I kind of gave you some tips of how to manage yourself for the energy, but what we have an opportunity here to do is to really just go to a next level, like drastically. Like a lot of times we are ready for the next level of our life, but we don't yet act like it. This month is going to compel you to start living, whatever that means for you, in alignment with this next level of yourself, this new version of yourself that you are ready and ripe to embody and bring into your life. Okay, I'm gonna give an example. My new assistant, he's outside of the room, Forrest. I was checking out his YouTube channel. He's been working hard at this YouTube channel, trying to grow and everything. He's really put the work in, made a lot of videos. And I was looking at his channel, and I saw one of his recent videos did really well. He's kind of like, for the first time, found his voice on YouTube, found his niche where he could really get big, okay? And he's just got the right energy, the technical skills. He's very proficient. He got the foundation laid. And I was like, Boris, you need to be freaking going at this like a madman. You're ready. You're ready to be consistent with your YouTube because you're ready to explode. Okay, that's a metaphor for where a lot of us are. A lot of us are like, we could ask our boss at any time for a raise. We just had this awesome success with all this praise and good job, you did an amazing job, and we sort of are ready for it, but we're just not asking. Now's the time to ask the boss for the raise, get the new job, get the pay raise, get the new car, the new house, whatever it is. It's time to really step out of our comfort zone because it's comfortable being the old self, because it's familiar to us. But we don't want to be the old self. This energy is going to make it miserable to remain the old self. It's time to be that person we want to be. The stage is set. You set it. It's go time. Just be it. Do it. That's the vibe of the energy right now. It's time. You can literally, you're steps away from this new version of yourself right now, but you got to be the one to take that step. Okay, my friends, that's all I have. That's like the gist of what I wanted to share about the energy. You got the point. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and answer questions. If you have any questions pertaining to anything I said, feel free to leave them. If you have anything you want to be coached on, anything you're going through, any obstacle or thing you've been wondering, go for it. And a real tip, a good tip I used to give to all my one-on-one clients is like to write stuff down. Like I have a coach now, I have a business coach. And I don't do this, I should. But I used to tell my clients anyway to write stuff down. And because sometimes they would like have these things they want to talk about, but they would forget. Okay, so it's really wise to, I carry this little notebook with me at all times. So it's my new habit. And I write down all these little notes throughout the day. So if you have something you want to ask in the next live, write it down, and then you'll know. Okay, I saw one at the top, then I'll go back down and also get into the pre-submitted ones. Hey Vic, what's your advice on dealing with self-worth issues? I've been following therapy and found out that it's due to my abusive parents' family. I still see it on a regular basis. Well, you can use a lot of times we place ourselves in positions in life where there will be the perfect catalyst to shed light on those self-worth or any issues for that matter. I remember when I was going through a phase of growth, I found myself, or me and Patty, my wife, had to stay with my parents for a week. And it was so intense because they reflected so much of my inner child wounds and problems and issues, and it was so intense. But my point is, don't look at being involved in your parents' life as a problem. They're not the problem. They are literally the solution because they are the perfect mirrors for your issues. So how do you deal with self-worth issues? It's not a one-stop shop sort of 1, 2, 3 process. It's a process of gradual unfoldment. It's a process of looking at the emotions that come up in various situations that trigger you. Like, when's the last time your parents did or said something that made you feel really unworthy? You want to take time to tap into that feeling and honor it. That's like your inner child saying, I still have the tendency to feel this way in certain situations. And you can look at that. You can say, okay, well, why? Why? Do you, your present, conscious, older adult mind, still think the same way as the inner child? Usually it's not the case. And you realize, I don't need my parents' approval anymore. You don't, because you're a being of light here on earth and will attract any mentor figure you need. It can come in the form of your parents. Oftentimes it does not, so you don't need that. You don't need their approval. And anyway, the idea is to let this emotion overtake you and think about it, contemplate it, use the situation as the blessing that it is. And as you can sort of sort this out in your mind, you'll start responding to those same triggers differently. There might be something else though. Maybe, and the way you know you grew is not when your parents move away. It's when they say that same thing and you don't emotionally emit those same emotions. And you say, oh my God, that's more satisfying than them being taken out of the equation. But then, of course, there's a lot of issues probably for you and everybody here, me included, where they say something different. It sparks another layer. It's like, oh, yeah, that means it's time to do it again. Okay, so look at your emotions, sort it out. So anyway, I think what I said was, I believe will be helpful to you, okay? Hey Mary, in your opinion, what is the best way to rid your self-doubt and lack of confidence? The best way, honestly, is to prove to yourself that you're a badass by not listening to those self-doubts and taking risks and taking chances and getting yourself out there. It was like I would have never been on YouTube if I waited to clear up all my self-doubt. I still have self-doubt, but it's like as I'm doing what I want to do in life in spite of the self-doubt and sort of affirming to myself that this is who I am, this is what I'm actually capable of, those doubts they don't make sense anymore. It's like, why are you, the doubts just don't make sense, and consequently they don't have any roots in my system and are dying away. One by one by one by one. But like self-worth, it's like self-doubt. It's not just a one emotion that you just find and cast away. No, it's a process. The best advice for all this is like self-inquiry. Most of the time, self-doubts don't make any sense. And if it does make sense, bounce your concerns off another person. Because sometimes I'll be festering for a week in my own self-doubt. And then I'll talk to my friend Aaron. I'll like tell him about my situation. He's like, ugh. You can tell he's like grossed out by my neurosis that I brought to him. He's like, bro, why are you thinking that way? That doesn't make any sense. That's not how it actually is. And just seeing his response and like another unbiased observer's perspective is like, maybe I am just in my head too much. Okay? But mainly, it's don't stop listening to self-doubt. A lot of people, they have the self-doubt, they have their dreams, but they're waiting for the self-doubt to leave. No, you go forward anyway. The self-doubts are not stronger than your will. Okay? Okay, I don't see any other ones here. Go ahead and leave them if you would like, but I have some other ones that were submitted I'll get into right now. This is for Carl. Hey Vic, I have a hard time connecting with people. Me too. I reached out a lot in the past, and I was trying hard to make connections, but they were never there from the start. I had friends, but it was just like putting up with a mask. I understand. And now I feel very isolated. I'm hanging out with people I don't resonate with. I want to find my tribe though. I think about going out and finding a group to meet people, but it's like something in me just very strongly rejects the idea. Probably the part that rejects you is the part that's remembering the past attempts that were failures. But you have to understand, Carl, that your past attempts were being made by your former self. And your former self is at a much different frequency and will attract different experiences that reflect that. You're a new person. You're a growing vibrational ball of awesome energy now, Caro. It won't be the same as last time. Okay, so know that for one. And also understand there is value in going in within for a while. The loneliness stings and aches, I know, but there is value in that. And you're already taking the good first step. Well, sort of, as you said, you're not really hanging out with those friends that you don't want to be around. But you did say, as I remembered, you also are spending a lot of time with people you don't resonate with. That's something you want to set boundaries with and stop doing. Because if you're doing that, you're saying, I'm not good enough. I don't deserve better relationships because I'm choosing to be with these people who make me feel bad or don't resonate or whatever it is. So you really want to set boundaries. It's not always easy, but it's a must. It's a must. I had to do it. And when I did it, I went through what you did, where I felt isolated and lonely for quite a while there. But it was so worth it because now my life is just filled with amazing soulmate relationships, literally. Not just Patty, my kids, but friends, associates, coworkers, everybody that's popping into my life is like a soul bond type of relationship now because I went through that whole phase. I learned what I needed to learn in that isolation phase, which again has lots of value. So it's not like how do I just attract friends? It's you got to honor the cycles. You got to stop reinforcing the old version of yourself and set those boundaries. And then it's about taking practical action. It's about ignoring the part of you that rejects the idea of reaching out. That's the ego. That's the inner child who's afraid of maybe being let down. And you know what? Maybe you will be let down. Maybe you go to a yoga retreat and it's like, man, these people suck. And you go to another meditation place and it's like, these people are slightly better. You just keep trying. Just know they're out there. Don't let the ego keep you the same. Okay? And Anastasia says, I would love to be in the Facebook group. It's called the Awaken Life Academy. Okay? Emma says, hello. I've been getting so many synchronicities lately. I have heard that seeing them is a sign to keep going, that I'm on the right track, but does the sync itself have any significance? No. Let's see. For example, I've used many synchronicities involving ants, whose spiritual meaning that is of community and hard work. Currently, I'm experiencing synchronicities involving lions, which is due to the strength. It's all about the meaning it means to you, is what it really means. Your higher self will use an infinite amount of props to reflect aspects of yourself. What you're doing with the synchronicity, you're seeing an aspect of yourself mirrored back to you. Like when you see the numbers 11, 11, 1, 2, 3, what you're really seeing is your transformation being reflected now in physical reality, because we're moving into a different dimension, literally fifth dimension, where in manifestation is more like instantaneous, where what's going on in here is what's out there, not so much of a lag. But as far as like seeing the different symbols and what does it mean when I see an ant, the best person, the source of knowing of that is you. What do you think of when you see the ants? As you mentioned, you see it represents hard work and community and teamwork. And that's what the ant represents to you. Maybe not me. Maybe to me it means like, man, I gotta spray. This is annoying. I got ants in my house. I don't like to kill bugs, but that's just an example. But it's really about your interpretation of the synchronicity. Now, with that said, sometimes your higher self knows, I'm going to show you a goat, knowing that you're not going to have any idea what a goat means, and you're going to look it up. And then what you want to do is when you're looking it up and researching, and you find what someone's interpretation of what a goat means, you want to make sure that interpretation resonates with you. Follow the resonance, okay? It's all about trying to think of a way to say that more clearly, but that's kind of what I mean by that. It's different. It's not like this pen is going to mean different things to different people. You are your own master. But sometimes the master doesn't know what it needs to know and it looks it up. But then again, make sure it resonates. This one's for Reagan. This is the last one I see pre-submitted. If you guys have anything else, please feel free. Reagan says, hey Vic, how do you know who to trust, both in the spiritual world and with stuff like entities, beings, spirits, etc.? I've been knee-deep in the show Cosmic Disclosure, and I'm realizing that neither humans nor beings alike have the best intentions, even if they pose like they do. As an example, I'm becoming more sensitive to energies in my space, and I get scared at their presence. So it confuses me if it's my fear that's leading me to believe it is negative. I would say step back from the Cosmic Disclosure. That's what I like the show, and I've watched it, but I get my own signs to like chill out, Vic. It's a very big, expansive, complex rabbit hole of a lot of information that doesn't have a lot of real value and relevancy to your life and being the Reiki master and doing your purpose and loving your boyfriend and hanging out and hiking. You see, you don't need to be concerned about what the secret government's doing this month. It's not really going to pretty much affect you in your day-to-day experience. And sometimes you can get so lost in that world, which does exist. It is part of our reality, but you sort of start to experience what you focus a lot on. Whoops. So it's not really a matter of who do you trust. You trust yourself. And if you find that you don't even know what you think anymore. It's just you're taking in too much information and you're getting disconnected from your own intuition, your own higher self, your own inner guru. And you're putting your power out there to all these people and their different opinions, which are always going to conflict, always going to lead to just confusion. When that's when you want to step back, come back into Reagan's center and say, what do I think? Okay? And that can happen. When you start to invest a lot of time into thinking about the creepy shit that's going on right now on the planet, you'll start to notice it in your daily life. But if you wouldn't have done all that, you wouldn't notice it. It's not that you would have been naive, but just you would have been in a different vibration, not that of fear, and you wouldn't experience that reality. Okay, you will only experience what you're vibrating at. Okay? And if something you're doing is lowering your vibration and causing fear, then that's not advantageous to your purpose of living a good life, obviously. With that said, sometimes we're naturally intrigued. Like, I love Cosmic Disclosure. I'm a huge Corey Good fan. I've always loved David Wilcock. Sometimes you align yourself with this information and it's exciting, there's joy, and it's like, wow, it's expansive. But when it starts to become overwhelming and fearful, that's when you put it away for a while. And putting it away for a while doesn't mean putting it away forever. For me, I go through spurts with that show, okay? Because the exact same thing happens to me. Not only that, but I find that when I watch too much of that spiritual, esoteric, what's going on in the cosmos, what are the Ichis doing and thinking, it makes me like detached too much from like my kids and just my life, where that's where I'm at. We're on Earth here. We're living our little life now, okay? So I think just a little bit of a lesson of discernment for you, Reagan, but there's nothing to worry about. Clarescence Online says, is it bad to look for validation through psychics or mediums? What do you think? What do you think I'm going to say to that? Bad? No. Disempowering? Yes. Sometimes when you're naturally, synchronistically or attracted to seeing a psychic or medium, which I have been, and they've been very helpful to me, it's like a way of getting the information you need for that little point in your life. But if you're feeling doubtful and you're hoping a psychic's going to lift your spirits, that's going to backfire probably in some way. That's not going to... I've done that. In fact, I've had that exact scenario where I went through like a spurt seeing all these psychics because it was such a high to say, you're going to be doing awesome in life. All these amazing things are coming. Should look ready for this. I resonate. It's amazing. Right? But eventually, because I got like attached to that, giving my power away too much, I eventually attracted this one weirdo psychic where me and my wife like knocked on this person's like this storefront's door, and we thought they were closed, but this dude was like living in his store, and he came to the door in his like pajamas, and he's like grumpy, and he had to go make coffee. He said, "Oh, just sit down," and he just started spilling out his life drama, and it was such a weird, uncomfortable, heavy energy that I just said, "Honey, we gotta go." And we basically bolted out of there. And I knew that was my experience saying, Victor, chill out with the psychics. Stop seeking validation and motivation outside of yourself so much. I'm not saying that's going to happen for you, but you get the idea where I'm going. You know the answer to that. Sonia, what up, Sonia? I got fantastic time right now, and I manifest a lot of work and good. Huh. So if you typed that pretty quick, Sonia, I gotta think about what you're saying there. So you're like having a good time right now, and you're manifesting a lot of work and good things, but an old money issue has come back, and I don't understand what it's telling me. Yeah, for me, the money issues were a big part of my journey, and they were very helpful, and they reflected to me my disempowerment, my unworthiness. All these different issues were triggered by dips in my finances. So I can't tell you why that's happening, but you probably can tell yourself if you look honestly, okay? It's becoming financially stable and independent in the world we live in with the corruption and all is not easy. It really takes a lot of discipline and courage and time and persistence and dealing with all the issues, and it's something that's really, in my experience anyway, really much earned. And that's not the case for everybody. Some people just They set themselves up with lives of abundance from the get-go. But I had to like work through everything, and every time I was like feeling disempowered, my sales would go down, or my YouTube, or it's always, my life is always reflected how I feel about myself. And when I'm not feeling good about myself, it would be sometimes shown to me through dips in my finances, as I said. So just look at it as another opportunity to grow. That what's coming is going. This experience, it also can sometimes inspire action. That I've used that like anxiety, like oh crap, the bank account's getting awfully low, as I gotta do something. I gotta do something now, and it helps you like light a fire under my ass. So you just try to figure out a way of using that positively to help you rise to that next level, expand out of the self-worth issue, whatever it is. Okay, so use that to your advantage. Okay, I don't see any other ones. I'll wait here for another second. If you guys have something else you want to shoot at me, feel free. It's been a good session. I feel good about this month and this energy. And you people, you guys are asking very good questions, and I can just tell that you guys are really in the process. You're really doing the work and attracting these types of scenarios into your life, which are not easy to deal with. A lot of them. It shows me that you're ready for them, and you're really walking this path beautifully. My friends, thank you. It's been a pleasure and an honor. I wish you nothing but the best. I'm here for you. Until next time, namaste.